Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I noticed earlier today when I was recording a video about why I might consider moving to either Taiwan or Poland, and I talked about how 2 years ago when I was living in Phoenix, I had a difficulty with a roommate. Among other things, I gave the example of how I couldn't get my roommate to put silverware back where it belongs. Something that simple. But that wasn't the only problem I had with the roommates. That was just a comical one, especially in light of the eating disorder I used to have. You see, 4 years ago, the last thing you wanted to do to me was to misplace silverware because I would get anxious about wanting to eat something. I would be all ready to dig in and something would stop me. Silverware not being available, somebody stole my food, electricity goes out, I can't cook it, store is sold out. My favorite was one time I almost missed my connecting flight. What had happened was I had flown from Seattle to Detroit. I was on my way from Detroit to Amsterdam. And I have enough food allergies as it is. There is one restaurant, a sushi place, that I usually went to in Detroit Airport. And when I got there, the sushi place was closed for some reason. It wasn't COVID related. This was before the days of COVID. I don't think it was because of quiet quit related stuff. This was way before those days. Something happened. I don't think it was a bad thing. Perhaps it was just it's a Japanese restaurant. Perhaps it was a Japanese holiday that I wasn't aware of. But I got lost in thought because that was the main meal I had been planning for the trip. You know, it takes about 4 hours to fly from Seattle to Detroit. There might have been a no, it wasn't 3 hours. It was like 2 hour layover because I knew I was almost late. And then it would take... I want to say 8 to 10 hours to go from Detroit to Amsterdam. So I got lost and confused, looking for something else to eat. The truth is, I wasn't hungry at all. It was more of a lost and confused. And I accidentally exited the airport. And so I had to go back through security. And I begged everybody in line to cut in front of them. I don't think this would go well this year. There's a lot of disagreements at airports these days, right? Thank God this was 2018 when it happened. Had it been 2023, it might have played out very differently. But that's the reason why this story is so comical, because I came so far away from it 2 years ago. Had this happened in 2019, I might have spent the night in jail for assaulting him. I really could have. But you see, it's not the fact that the roommates didn't put the forks back, right? It's the fact that we didn't have camaraderie in the household, right? I want roommates to be more like proxy brothers and sisters, right? Not sharing see, I talked about going to jail. I did spend some time in jail when I was 18 years old, right? The flavor I got with my roommate in Levine, where I was living, was more similar to my cellmates in jail than a roommate, right? That's the point I wanted to make, right? In a jail cell, you probably cannot expect your property to be where it was when you left it, right? That's the bad feeling I got. It wasn't the forks, you know. I would have given him the forks if he wanted them, right? It's the fact that we didn't have a teamwork that gave me a lot of concern, right? And that's why I've been spending a lot of time networking with everybody, because I'm still looking for that teammate in my life. Not necessarily a romantic partner, not necessarily a partner in life, but a teammate, right? And I think it's sad because so many great things could happen if we worked as a team, right? I often like to think of we just celebrated Mary Curie's discovery of polonium, 125-year anniversary. I have serious doubts that she and Pierre had an actual romantic relationship. They were more like teammates more than anything else. Yes, society did pressure them to get married, have children. I don't think it would have played out that way today. They'd probably be more like roommates without the marriage, without the children. Certainly, after she became widowed, it was more like losing a best friend than losing a life partner, right? Her research hardly missed a beat, right? It's kind of like my old classmate who died of COVID-19 3 years ago, right? Yes, I did mourn, but my research didn't miss a beat at all, right? That's how I like to see the Currys, right? So apparently it can be done, but we have a societal barrier to that for some reason. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.